Okay, welcome everybody. Happy Saturday. I am here with the lovely Morgan Rose, all the way from other side of the world. Tell me again, are you in the Netherlands?
France. I'm in France.
I don't know, I thought the
Hi,
Netherlands.
everyone.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to have Morgan here live.
Thanks.
And if you're jumping on, type in the comments. First of all, I want to know if the comments are working and where you're tuning in from. And yeah, and if you are, if you're watching this, if you're an entrepreneur, like bring your questions when it comes to copywriting, because that's Morgan's expertise. So she infuses copywriting and energy together. Like you have a way of knowing how to bring someone's unique energy into the words that they're using to promote their business. And you're also a mindset coach. So I want to just dive into, how did your journey start? So I know back in 2016, you were doing energy healing, right?
Yeah, I really launched my business in 2016. I was an executive before. I had no idea I would be my own boss. And I started selling, like offering like an energy healer. Like I was selling energy healing, and that's been my energy cleanse. Energy healing has been my best-selling service since even before I launched my business, because I was like training, so I was going to people's places. I wasn't charging because I wasn't established.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I was really struggling with marketing. And I had the limiting belief, like I had literally associated like my identity with I hate marketing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it was
you can relate to that. I mean, I kind of feel that way too, to be honest.
so, and this is how limiting beliefs can really play a trick on us, because this was my given. I hate marketing, I suck at it. So that's how I was. And if you ask me what my marketing strategy was when first of all, I had no idea. But like, if someone would ask me, what do you do? Oh, I do energy healing. And they would be like, how does that help? Oh, it can change all aspects of your life. Yeah, great. So when I started my business, I thought the universe was going to provide. And don't get me wrong, the universe always provides, but the universe doesn't do lead generation per se. Like, isn't that cute that I thought clients would just come? Like, unicorn, rainbows, butterflies.
Totally. Yes.
Yeah. So, and I'm glad actually I didn't know about marketing, because I doubt I would have opened my business. Or no, I still would have, because there was a calling. So let me take that back. But I would have been like, I'm not sure I want to do that. So it's been a struggle, because I was putting in the work, like, oh yes, like I would work like
Mm-hmm.
day and night at my desk, redoing my sales page, going on Facebook group. But I didn't want to, like, imposter syndrome, like if imposter syndrome had a face, that would be me in 2016. I didn't want to feel salesy. I didn't want to feel manipulative.
Yeah.
Like, if I would talk about what I do, I wouldn't want people to feel that I'm pushing something on them. So it's like I almost apologized myself for talking about what I was doing. I was just switching topics. So a
Yeah.
lot of shame.
Yeah.
And especially in my area, I don't know, like I guess it varies according to where in the world you are, but in north of France, like everything that is energy healing, that's weird. Like, why would you do that? Like, just go and get a job. That's safer. Like, think about your retirement. Why? Literally. Or do you think that will work?
Yeah.
So I've heard it all.
Yeah.
So I had some kind of shame also, but I wasn't aware that it was shame. I hadn't identified this as
Mm-hmm.
shame. I thought it was just like, like just afraid of, because I know how delicate energy healing is. You cannot guarantee the same result for everyone, right? Because
Right.
everyone's unique, and like it, we're not God, right? So
Right.
it's not us as healing facilitators who are deciding if someone is going to heal or not. So it was so
It's intangible.
right,
It's intangible. Like, how
right.
do you sell something that you can't, like, here it is. Open the box and this is what it looks like.
Yeah, like a Kinder egg. I think they are forbidden in the US, but you have this chocolate egg and there is a
Oh,
surprise in it, and you don't know what's gonna be inside the Kinder egg.
never heard of that.
Yeah, it's very popular here. Like children love to have Kinder eggs, and you don't know which toy you're gonna have inside, and usually it's a pain to assemble. And oof,
Oh, I see.
anyway,
Anyway. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that was like I thought it was just lack of confidence, but then I identified the shame because the fear of sounding arrogant if I would talk, or like, yeah, I have healing abilities, but I don't want to sound like I have a magic wand and I'm going to heal you. So I was
Mhm.
really like embarrassed, awkward, and I would just lose myself in word yogurt, like I always say. And I was feeling my
I love
deodorant.
that phrase, the word yogurt. I mean, it's really true. Like, you can lose yourself. I mean, when you're trying to, like, explain it, suddenly it opens up this rabbit hole, right? Like, suddenly you find
Exactly.
yourself like, "Oh my god, like, now I don't even know what it is I do." Right?
Exactly. Yeah, totally. And
Yeah.
I would start sweating, like, I'm like, oh, deodorant, please work for me. Like, I would sweat. I would feel so awkward. And, but I still had clients, thank God, like, it's just like, I was awkward.
Mhm.
So I took courses, but I hate marketing, remember? So I had decided that marketing wouldn't stick, and self-sabotage was running the show. And at some point I'm like, no, 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 like something is not right here, like it needs to change. Long story short, in parallel to that, I had been complimented on my words, like on the way I write, but I never paid attention to that because it's not something I was really believing. Because if I was that good at writing, my marketing would work. But I hate marketing, you see? The limiting belief and the whole process. So I would just like, yeah, if I was that good at writing, I would have thousands of views on my blogs. But it doesn't mean that it's just that I sucked at SEO and marketing, because I had decided that I sucked at it, you know? So decided.
So is that how you got into then the mindset stuff?
Oh, the mindset was more because I'm also a coach in personal development. And when I really saw the connection with the energy work, because in the type of energy work that I do, it's been really, really deep. Like I've been helping people who are highly targeted individuals, like gang stalking entities and all these types of things. And at some point it was starting to weigh very heavy on my shoulders, because that was the main thing I was doing, and it was kind of not exciting me. Like, don't get me wrong, I love helping people,
Yeah.
but we're not into self-sacrifice, right? It also needs to bring us joy. So
Yeah.
then I understood the connection between the beliefs, the mind, how the mind plays a role and feeds those energy patterns, those things that we can face sometimes in the unseen, like paranormal things and patterns and things like that. So I'm like, okay, so the mindset is really key here. So that's where I really started incorporating more conscious and subconscious work into my energy work, because I'm like, I can clear a pattern from someone's energy field,
Yeah.
but if it's still running in the mind, it's going to come back in the energy, because there is no big difference between subconscious and energy in the sense that everything is energy. But if you don't bring the subconscious to the conscious, if you just clear the energy without telling people what it is about and how to shift it, because my goal is to also empower, it's not like, oh, come to me for a session and buy. It's like, hey, this is what we did, and this is what you can do in your daily life to shift, like to keep building that momentum, building these new habits, really.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. You've got to rewire, to really change your life. It's like all the puzzle pieces. So I would love to hear, because let's see, we have a comment here. I don't know why, but the comments, it just says Facebook user. So I'm sorry, I don't have names that are showing up for some reason, but someone said you were speaking my language even before word yogurt, but I'm all in now. So I think people are really hungry.
Oh, I've lost you.
We've identified all the
you're here.
that.
Nope.
Oh,
yep.
Am I present?
Yeah, you're back. I didn't hear your last sentence. Sorry.
I think people, so now that we've identified, like, okay, yeah, playing, what it feels like to play small, dealing with imposter syndrome, like, okay, we got to like bring in the mindset, like bring in the clarity. So now I'm sure I think there's people here that really want to know, okay, so how do you create copy that truly like is clear, is magnetic, is authentic, is in alignment, is you're in integrity, like it's big, right? So if you could speak to that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So there is no one size fits all. Like I always say, cookie cutters, they belong in the kitchen, but not in my coaching business. Like I don't do cookie cutter strategies, because even if I have a framework, even if I have a method, each human is unique. And that's why I love this intuitive energy approach, is because I can have 10 energy healers or healing facilitators, whatever you do, in front of me.
Yeah.
Each of them is going to do it differently. So what is it that brings you joy? How are you doing it? How different do you do it? And the power of asking questions, because just to talk about my experience, and it's not to talk about myself, it's just to illustrate what I'm saying, is I went to some business coaching before. So, but business coaching was not what I needed. I needed someone to be able to translate what was in my head or in my soul, because that was not even conscious at this point. Like I knew there was something within me that wanted to come, but it's like I had a consciousness constipation. Like, I wasn't. It wasn't dropping into my consciousness.
It makes me laugh.
It's like something was blocking me, but I was blocking myself, obviously, right? Yeah. So the first thing is that, what do you really, really want to do, but you're not aware that you want to do it because you think you suck at it, or you cannot do that because you don't have enough experience, or you're not an expert, or basically, what is the BS belief system that is holding you back?
Yeah.
What is it that you like, if nobody was watching, or what is it that you really dream about when you go to bed? What is it that you really dream about, but you don't even admit it to yourself because you're scared, you don't think it can work, or you're just not aware of it?
Yeah. It's like dance as if no one's watching. I mean, I love that phrase, and like it brings me back to this idea of ecstatic dance. Sorry to interrupt, but Yes, like, so, you're touching on something, it's like, we know what that feels like deep down inside if we allow ourselves, like, what if I just let myself go and just tap into that dream and start moving from that place, like,
Right.
what does that look like?
And it's scary, let's be honest. It's scary
Yeah,
because maybe you have this idea of what you should do, what your soul mission is. So you don't think, like for myself, oh, I'm doing energy healing. Why would I be a copywriter? Yeah, I've written a couple of books. Yeah, self-development books, 20, like a dozen books I've written. But no, that I've never promoted them.
mm,
I just like they're in like catching virtual dust on the Amazon bookshelf, like you know what I mean.
right,
So it's like no, because that's not what I'm supposed to do. Because we are so blind to what is familiar. It's there, but we don't see it because it's always been there, and
right,
we have other like it's piling up.
mm,
So to get back to your question, it's about your soul gift. What is, or your soul gift, plural, what is it that your soul is craving for? So we ask questions, and sometimes I have insights of, because my goal is not to be like sitting there and vomiting, you are supposed to do this and that, because how empowering is that? It's not, right?
no,
It's a back and forth dance, because you used the analogy of the dance earlier. It's like tango. Question, answer. Oh, I'm getting this feeling. What do you feel? Oh, goosebumps. What are the goosebumps telling you?
mm,
So it's all about asking questions and getting you, or who I have in front of me,
right,
to really have this, ooh, oh my God, yes. And how can you allow yourself to do that? And like I was saying, it's scary because it's outside the comfort zone, but that's what I'm here for,
yeah,
to also empower and guide and all of that. So this
mhm,
is really about getting back to the soul gifts. What is it that you want to do? And then,
mhm,
of course, how to write the copy. It's also about confidence. That's the second step. And so it's a whole, like I have my rose framework. We go from R for realization, bringing awareness. Then you observe. The O of rose is the observation, like detach from every emotion. Not because you want to ignore your emotion. That's not at all the case. It's more like, okay, observe what is coming up. Is it shame? Do you feel you're not going to deliver? Are you owning your zone of genius? And if not, that's okay. You're here to achieve that. And then the S is for shift, because once you have observed and things have been brought to your awareness, that's when you can redirect and shift. And the E is for expansion, because when you have done all of that, you expand. So that's really the framework that I'm following. And like I was saying, even if there is a framework, what's inside is specific to your soul gifts. So, what is your imposter saying? And why is it saying that? Is it your school teacher who told you you would never succeed in anything in life? Because sometimes school teachers say these things. I've heard that
right,
when I was a child. And we just need to silence that. We need to shift that, because that's not serving. That's not serving anyone.
right,
So it's about shifting that, and then putting the words, like when I come up with words, I'm like, how do you feel about that word?
mm,
Does it feel aligned? Does it not? And it's okay if it doesn't feel aligned, but why is it not aligned? Is it not aligned because you genuinely don't like it? Or is it not aligned because you don't dare? You want to, but there is a fear.
mm,
If it's a fear, let's shift that. And then how do you feel? Oh, yeah, that feels great. Like a
mhm,
client of mine was struggling with her title. I know it's hard to define ourselves as humans, because
mm,
we are so much more than a function or coach, or you know what I mean? But she felt she had outgrown the title that she was using. So we were brainstorming, sorry. And I was like, what about intuitive wellness mentor or whatever I
Mhm.
came up with? And she's like, oh, that feels good.
Mm.
But we brainstormed until it felt right. Like, imagine yourself, you're in a networking event, I don't know, you meet an old friend who's always known you as whatever you were doing before being a business owner, and you introduce your new self, like your new function, your new business. How do you feel? Do you want to be like, do you feel that you are like happy? Does it feel expensive? Or do you feel like 2016 me, yogurt chef, sweating,
Yeah,
being like, I do this, but how's your day? What about
right,
you?
right. They deflect. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so that's really landing for me what you said in terms of it's like, I mean, you've touched on so many things. So often we think that we want someone to give us the strategy and to tell us what we need to say so that we can whatever, have the success, have the clients and this and that. But what happens is that you're not in your authenticity. And so to me, it sounds like when someone's working with you, it's like, let's really tune in into like who you really are and come from there because it's true. It's like, I mean, I have heard it so many times. It's like, you know what? Your path is your own. Like, yeah, you can try different strategies and maybe learn from them and there's, certain value, but ultimately it's like your path is your own and it has to light you up because like you said, you get stuck in a cookie cutter thing, eventually you just get disconnected from your essence, I guess, is the way I'd
Yeah,
name
and
it.
from your offers as well, because if you're not excited with your offer, how are you going to sell it? And
Yeah.
I've been through that. I've
Mhm.
been through that. I know, even if you're like, oh, you're doing all the things, you're working your butt off, your derrière,
Uh-huh.
and and like it, like the spaghetti is like it's not sticking to the wall.
Yeah.
It's because there is a misalignment. And I was actually, a friend of mine was sharing this with me. They did some experiment and they were measuring. I think it was 25,000 people in a room, or how many people, whatever that was.
Mhm.
The energy that was the strongest was the energy of authenticity. So when you are not 100% convinced about what you're selling, not because you're good at what you do, but you just like there is a disconnect between wording it and the results that you get. And maybe because, like I was saying, like in my case, energy healing is so intangible, so personal, so intimate. How can you guarantee the same thing, especially when you have people who come to you for health issues?
Mhm.
Because integrity is so important. Like, I've had people suffering from cancer before, and a client of mine, he said, after a session, 80% of my pain is gone. I was so happy. But would I be in integrity to guarantee this to everybody?
Right,
No, I
right,
can't. I can't do that.
right.
I can use this as an example. This is a fact. This
This
is
is a
something that,
possibility for you.
but right, but I would be dishonest if I would say, yep, come, I'm going to clear this, clear that. No,
Yeah.
that's where words come really powerful, because
Mhm.
you really want to be authentic, you want to be aligned with your words
Mhm.
and with your results,
Yeah.
so that people who read your sales page, your post, whatever you share, your blog,
Mhm.
know that this can work for them, but also they need to be in this or that mindset,
Yeah.
because responsibility is also very important, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like this is not a magic wand and you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So those of you that are watching, if you have any questions you wanna ask, just type them in the comments. Before we get off, I wanna ask you, Morgan, about your new business faceless easy biz. Like when you shared that with me, we were talking before, I'm like, faceless easy biz, like tell me all about it, because how many of us are like, God, I hate posting, like taking pictures of myself everywhere I go because that's what you're supposed to do to like be seen
No.
So
I'm
you're
really here to, and there is absolutely nothing wrong. Like, I'm not judging anyone who likes to dance on reels, like to each their own. Like, genuinely, if you're having fun, like, go for it, But those who are like myself, who just don't want to do that, and even if I would force myself, I would be cringy AF because anyone watching would be like, "Oh, she's forcing herself." Like, yeah, like, yes, bro, I am. So you don't have to show your face to succeed. Of course, it's nice to see who is behind the brand, right? But if you're not comfortable with having a picture of yourself on your feed, introduce yourself in your stories. That's more intimate. But find another way to stand out. So just to answer your question, there is a trend lately that is coming up, the faceless digital marketing business. And this is an additional business that I started with a friend. We're having so much fun. It's about selling digital product, like setting up your business in a way that it works for you, because sometimes once again, I'm going to take my own example. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but I'm talking for myself, and I know I'm not the only one. When you go to a deep, intimate level with your client, and when I say intimate, like people come to you for having been raped as a child, how more intimate can that be? Like a human being who didn't know you maybe 3 weeks ago comes to you, they confide in you one of the most traumatic events of their life. I wouldn't want to do group sessions for that, because opening up to someone is hard, but to a group is even harder. And it's not for everyone. Some people, like, it works for some, and that's wonderful, but it doesn't work for me. And I know I'm not the only one. So when you have a business that is really focused on being laser sharp and having your 100% to like your focus, your attention, your eyes on the people you're working with, like you're not chasing the next customer, the next client, you are with someone, because this is also something that I've seen. Like once you've paid, you're in a container, then they start chasing and thinking about re-enrolling you. I've seen that. I don't want to do that. So scaling is not necessarily possible because we are human, and when we give so much to the one-on-one experience, having passive income on the side can also be a good way to scale, right? And you never know, like, also, I mean, not gonna talk about bad things, but let's talk about the pandemic, for example.
Yeah.
If something like that hits, then you have you don't put your eggs in the same basket, let's say. Right. So that's what we started. So we are not showing our face. We only did an introduction, but that's where it gets fun, because you get to be creative with your content, like the image, and also with the copy. And I'm having fun. Like, this is new for me, the digital marketing aspect, like selling digital product actively, because I have ebooks, courses, but I'm not really actively promoting them. But I'm having fun writing the copy, because my friend is doing the design part. She's a design genius, so we complete each other in that sense. And I'm having fun with the words. So it's very recent. So to anyone who thinks they have to dance on reels and lip sync or show their face, if they're not comfortable, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Find another way to stand out, a way like words, colors, aesthetics, whatever it is. Like, find your signature and have fun. Really have fun.
Yeah. Great. I am just looking to see if there's any more comments. And I just dropped your website.
Oh, thank you.
Um, and so there people can find your different programs. Is there anything you want to speak to as far as like what your containers look like or
Well,
work?
it's one-on-one, so my brand new service is so much fun. It's elevate your impact, so it's to articulate your skills, your results, and learn to own your genius. So, of course, it's connected to marketing, but hey, I've I've shifted the. I love marketing nowadays. So when you really own your genius, your what makes you unique, then it becomes fun and you don't even feel like you're selling because you're just talking about what you do and you're passionate about it and it just comes naturally. So of course there is a part of strategy, like what do you like? Do you like more social media? Do you want evergreen? I'm a big fan of evergreen. Like if I create a piece of content, like that boo has to work with me or for me. So mix social media and evergreen. I love doing that. So it really comes from owning, like the back end, like your marketing is the stage, but
Yeah.
backstage, are you owning? Are you lit up with your offer? Are you lit up with talking about what you do? Or are you a yogurt chef? Like, pass me.
Right, right.
So it's really about that, because then when you find that thing that lights you up, that's when you become magnetic. That's when you speak with passion.
Yeah, so to me, what it feels like is that you help people create that energetic foundation, which is intangible, that energetic inner foundation. It's like, to me, it's almost like when you take the analogy of gardening, it's like, okay, this is how we're going to amend the soil. Like this is all the good stuff that, you have this rich, generative soil, so that whatever it is that you're wanting to plant, it's just gonna
Right.
go, and it's going to be effortless. You're not going to be struggling and, battling the weeds and getting lost in the garden and, all of that. It's just like getting that clarity, getting that energetic structure in place so that you're tapped in, like you have that clarity and you have that connection. So
Yeah. So when you're a new business owner, or if you're plateauing, or if you're pivoting, it's really important to have the foundations right. I mean, right. There is no wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's more, why waste time and energy when you can avoid things?
right.
Because it's taking me way too long, and I don't wish that for anyone, because at some point you're like, okay.
Yeah, like, why not avoid the pitfalls from the beginning and just get
Right.
really clear
And
and get the
building.
support? I mean, that's the whole thing. I really just wanna advocate for women, like, you don't have to do it alone. Like, however you choose to invest in yourself, like, give yourself that gift, because you can literally spend years struggling trying to figure it out on your own, and that's not being in abundance. That's not being like, you've gotta be able to be open to receive support. And so, I just want to, if you're watching this and you're someone that's like, yes, like, I know I have these amazing gifts and skills, but I don't know how to talk about them. I need someone to hold the mirror for me, so I can see myself, and I know, and I can connect to what lights me up, and what's the language around it. I just think that's brilliant. Like, that's so, I wish, yeah, I wish that for everyone to have that if they're going out into
Yeah.
entrepreneurship. Is there anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Yes, actually, I want to refer to the podcast episode that you and I did, because
Oh, yeah.
if you want to share the link as well, because you were talking about the tea. I mean, the
Yeah.
letter T, not the drink.
Yeah.
um, when you share this example, I've been training or retraining myself the whole week. When I'm taking notes, I'm being very mindful of the direction of my letters.
Yeah.
And I realized like, oh my God, I'm having so much fun. And my handwriting has changed by me being mindful. So I'm not going to spill the whole tea, because anyone listening, pun intended or not intended,
Right.
actually, like, if you want to discover more about what Tanya does, this is wonderful. So go and check out the podcast episode that we did together, because Tanya is talking about how like we can rewire the brain, the mindset as well, through the power of handwriting, like the actually shaping the letters. And I'm literally having so much fun. I love writing. I love pens. Like you can see, you have pens everywhere. And so it's, I love it. So check out the podcast
I will
episode.
definitely post in the comments after this. I'll post the link there. You guys can watch. And thank you for that. Yeah, I'm so glad that you're having fun with it, because I love it too.
So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to change the orientation of my writing, especially like we were talking in the podcast, being a left-hander, like, I go from right to left. But I mean, for the T's and things like that. So anyway, I thought I would mention it, because that's been really fun and really eye-opening.
Yay. Oh, thank you. Morgan, it's been such a joy. Thank you so much for being here, being live. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Yeah, that was super fun. Thanks so much for having me and for being my guest as well. And if anyone has any question, I mean, I'm happy to answer. And
find Morgan Rose. She's on Facebook. And have a beautiful rest of your weekend. And
you too.
Take care, everyone.
Bye. Take care. Bye-bye.